Give me a countdown.
There we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toy Snubbers. I am your host, Colin Connors. With me, as always, is my wonderful co-host / Latina flavor, Alicia Garza.
Hey, y'all.
Also joining us today, the very beautiful Stephen Lehman.
Hello.
The always insightful Ben Millier.
Hi, friends.
The very intelligent Alex Cash.
How goes it?
All right, so before we begin, I want to do a little bit of house cleaning. First things first, there are still plenty of spots left in our fan winner pick contest. Yes, you can win something that you change because this is Survivor Game Changer. So you can win a pair of underwear. You can win like $5 off a change of tires, and you can even win some pizza. So be sure to enter that. All right. So who is still left, people. So go ahead, put those names down. We got Aubrey. We have Cerise still. We have Haley, Ozzy, Troy, Zeke, JT, Ty, Jeff, and Debbie. So we still have a huge group of people left. Go ahead and pick one. Why not? You could win some pizza. However, I got to say a very sad farewell to Joe Gonzalez. He picked Malcolm, and he is the first one out. Joe, I am so sorry. And if you make a fake YouTube account and pick someone else, we don't really have a way to detect that. So maybe go for it. I don't know. We'll see. And then also I have to say it's very sad that Elise Anderson, that girl from Canada, her winner pick was also Malcolm. So she is now out of the contest. But I have to admit she gave me crap because I picked Vetus and Jennifer. Now she has Maury and Malcolm, so I think we're a little bit even. So,
more importantly, she will be talking all about Malcolm's very untimely demise on our after show posted on Saturday.
Exactly. Very good point. She'll be crying tears for an hour. So if you don't watch a girl from Canada cry, be sure to check that out. It's going to be fantastic. But let's go all the way from the Malcolm boot to the very beginning of the episode because a lot of stuff happened tonight, a lot of things to digest. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to talk to Ben first because the very first thing we saw was Ty being kind of reassured and him saying, you know, hey, I did the right thing in voting out Caleb. And then tonight with the idol play. Last week we were all saying Ty's dead in the water and that he doesn't have a shot. Has Ty actually redeemed himself, and could he come back from his pretty shitty first two episodes?
I think that he's positioned himself well in terms of having a short-term game plan. Does that extend into success later in the game? I doubt it, especially considering people on the other tribe were quick to mention his name. Like the fact that the other tribe, the majority tribe in the tribal council, like considered him as one of the two people to be voted out shows that his target is much larger than we can perceive. So I think that even though he's doing well in the short term by playing the idol and really bringing his tribe together, bringing Mana together, I think that it doesn't bode well for him long term because he still has that target in so many other people's eyes.
And so, Alex, piggyback off that, would you agree with Ben that basically Ty just saved himself from being the next one voted out of his tribe, but come merge, he's dead, he's DOA, there's nothing really he can do?
Well, I don't necessarily think DOA. I think he doesn't have a chance of like winning $1 million, but I think he could be a solid part of an alliance for as long as people don't remember that he, you know, has a tendency to flip on people.
Well, and then Steven, you can comment on this too. You can't really do what Ty just did and whip out that idol and there not be some dramatic consequences because my guess is the moment they merge, everyone's going to know that Ty's idol was the reason Malcolm left.
Right.
And that's going to put a huge target on Ty's back.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. But I think he definitely cemented himself well within his own tribe, which at the point right now that we're at is something he had to do. So I think it was not only a good move for him just to get a big player like Malcolm out, it was good because it cemented his own status within the tribe. And I think it cemented him, unfortunately, for my case, above Haley. So.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that because you're a big Haley fan, but we have a lot of Haley stuff. Alicia, I was going to give you the next question, but I'll go ahead and take it away.
Okay, great. So I don't know that Ty is necessarily going to have a big target on his back specifically because of the idol. Because if you noticed, when he pulled it out, the rest of his tribe mates weren't acting all shocked as though he surprised them and was going rogue. It definitely looked like a unified front, and the vote, you know, helped reflect that. So it obviously we know it was like a group idol, and if the other tribe was paying attention, they would have seen that it was all according to their whole plan for their tribe, not just Ty.
Yeah.
And okay, Steven, I think you disagree with that. And Alicia,
I was just going to say real quick, there was the scene before Tribal where Ty sat down in front of his tribe and was like, "Hey guys, I have it. Like we can use it tonight." So there was that whole entire scene where Ty sat down. Yeah. So
what we're saying is basically I think Steve
there was a scene before Tribal. So right after Ty found it, the idol, there was a scene of him sitting around the campfire with the rest of the tribe, and he was like, "Hey guys, I found the idol. Like we can use it."
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, I think that goes to Alicia's point. I think it was kind of sketchy.
Right.
But an important detail just to point out is that Hallie was not part of that conversation. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I'm guessing they told her.
Why.
Yeah, I'm guessing they told her, pretty early on that day. I mean, we'll find out on Secret Scenes if Haley didn't know and she was blown away, and then that would be a whole Haley was betrayed arc. But Alicia, real quick, I do want to talk to you about Debbie. She got a little bit of screen time early on with Haley trying to make amends with her, but then Debbie was saying like, "Oh, Haley's out. Haley's all this stuff." Where would you characterize Debbie's place in this game? Because to me, it's no good. And that preview next week, I don't know. I'm afraid for Miss Debbie.
Yeah, so Debbie is one of these lovely, has certain ideas about the game and about herself that may be unrealistic or not reality. She kind of thinks what's happening in her head is what's happening everywhere. So she's not the most subtle, and maybe she's not the most strategic, despite thinking she is. And I think we're going to see some of that next week with potentially her feeling betrayed by Brad, when right now she's like, "No, me and Brad, ride or die."
Well, why does she feel betrayed by Brad? Do we know? Is there something this episode that was given?
No, not really. I don't think there was no real interaction with them that seemed awkward or they were off of the same page.
Well, Alex, I want you to go ahead and comment on this. What do you make of Debbie's place? And is she just going to be the character this season? Or I guess what I'm trying to say is, can Debbie get to the end and win the $1 million realistically, knowing what we know after the edit? We're 4 episodes in.
I would have said yes before this episode, but there was one crucial little edgicky moment where very early on in the episode, she was in her usual very emphatic way saying, "Haley, you have no options, none." And before Tribal Council, Haley is like, with this twist, now I have options. And those two were picked very specifically to show Debbie as being wrong. And if the edit goes out of the way to say you are wrong, that really puts a dent in your chances.
All right. So that's kind of what I was getting at. I do think Debbie might be dead in the water. And I think Ty doing a little better, but we don't have much more to say about that, his long-term status in this game. Ben, I want to throw this to you real quick, okay? Survivor One World. Do you remember that season? In Survivor One World, for some damn reason, there were a bunch of challenges that everyone did it yourself. And everyone was really confused on why production would include a challenge like this. For some reason, Jeff had to go get a manicure or host his talk show or work on his apps or something. Then we come to this season. We have a challenge, reward challenge. There's 17 people left in this game. And Probst goes, "All right, only 6 of you are competing." Does this make any actual sense to do something like this? Do we find it entertaining as viewers? Because I can't wrap my head around why they do this. I mean, are they trying to save budget on the challenges? And if so, couldn't they just do the challenge where they all stand up? I'm going to talk to Ben, and I'm going to hit you, Alex. Why are we doing this?
Literally, when everything played out and the people were decided and we saw the 6 people playing in the challenge, me and my roommate simultaneously looked at each other and said, "Patriarchy." This was just a reinforcement of let's have the strongest people represent all of us in some warfare. And so ridiculous because there are 17 people left. This is nothing for this is a stupid thing to do when there are 17 people left.
But do you think from a strategic standpoint, would it make sense if you're Troy to be the last leg to maybe curry some favor? Would it make sense to not even be in this challenge because, hey, I don't want to be one of the 2 people that loses? Something like that?
No.
No, there's no. You don't think there's any added benefit.
Let's not waste our time trying to justify this.
I'm going to talk to Alex. I know Alex will. Then I'm going to jump to you, Alicia. Don't worry, I promise I'll get to you.
my justification for this is, and I'm sure this is not what the producers were thinking, but I'm gonna go with it anyway, is that if you think about it in terms of like individual reward challenges that people never want to win and individual immunity challenges that people sandbag all the time, this is an opportunity to make people be the hero for their tribe, even more so than like the puzzle solver as is usual in the pre-merge type of challenges. Because if you're picked to do this challenge, then you have to win. You can't sandbag it, because then you have other people who are pissed at you because you're playing for them specifically.
Well,
so I think it's more of, you know, getting people to think about physical threats, and it puts a target on people's back in that way early when they wouldn't normally have to otherwise. But what I actually think it is just Jeff having a boner for, you know, hero challenges, like with Coach versus Ozzy at the beginning of South Pacific, with frickin' San Juan del Sur, with all the Redemption Island things. He likes it when 2 people or 3 people or 6, whatever, a certain limited subset of people go head to head, and they got to be the hero.
Okay, Alicia, I want to hear your point. I think that was a good point, Alex.
Basically, Jeff Probst's dream, like, final tribal, like final challenge, or like final 6 challenge, is like all these like muscly dude bro guys, but he knows it will never happen.
So he gets it out of the way.
All those guys will never get that far. So he's like, all right, we need to see my dream realized early on, team.
Well, and Alicia, I just want to clarify something. That would be your dream too, with all the dude bro.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Like,
No, I really no. But going off, I really do think. I do think that like Jeff Probst literally dreams and thinks like what happened with this reward challenge set to the tune of Eye of the Tiger is literally what populates his
Well, and
like, quite literally that's Jeff Probst at night.
I think Jeff Probst, you know, I give him as much junk as you guys. I think he always means well, Steven, but you said this was something for the Facebook moms, having the 6 people.
I don't know if it was.
Go ahead. You know, I think there's some truth to that though. Because why else would we do it?
Well, I mean, of course, Probst knows that the mainstream fans are. I don't use that as a slur, by the way. He knows that the more normal, grounded fans who are not as obsessed like us really like the physical guys going at it. Like they love seeing Ozzy, balancing on a beam, or Malcolm throwing stuff at somebody.
But from a strategic standpoint, if I'm playing on a season and Jeff Probst is like, all right, we need 2 people from this tribe to do it. Wouldn't I not want to volunteer myself and not want to be on it? Because if I do the challenge and lose, my tribe hates me. If I do the tribe and win, there's a target on my back.
Yeah. But I think when it comes to it, like the people that we thought would come from each tribe were the people that represented each tribe. Like it wasn't really a decision as much as they just put in the 2 people that were the strongest. Like it didn't have any representation of like wanting or desire to be a hero.
But say it's you and you're one of those physical threats. Like I still don't think it's worth it at all, because like the favor you may or may not gain by winning definitely does not outweigh like the shittiness that like people will look at you at with if you lose.
Well, and
like,
not only that,
almost
Alicia,
all negative and almost no positive. It's like, oh, like thanks for winning me some coffee, like this is cool, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, and now I really want you to get farther in the game. Like that's
and that was my thing, is that even if you get someone to come a coffee, Sandra Diaz-Twine's not gonna be like, you know what, Malcolm, I was gonna vote you out because you won 3 immunity challenges in a row, but you got me some coffee, so you're cool now. So I just don't see it. I don't see it. I will say I'm going to talk about someone who I loved in their first season and you all hated, but he is getting a much better edit this time around. Ben.
Oh fuck!
Brad
You're not
Culpepper.
talking about Ozzy. You're talking about Brad.
I'm talking about Brad Culpepper. First off, admit it, he's getting a better edit this time around. And second off, he seems to be getting kind of a highlighted. I mean, Brad Culpepper was edited the same way as fucking Ozzy during that challenge, and Brad killed it at the very end. Is he getting a redemption arc for his first season? What's going on with him?
Things as if he played in the NFL. Wow. Good job for him. He did his job.
But to be
did what he did for 20 years. I think that he is in the same position. I think he's seen as the threat of the Mana tribe, and he's always going to be seen as that going forward. And solidified him now is looking good in the short term. I also don't think he has a long-term prospect because of the fact he has that target. And I don't think that the Mana tribe is able to, like, when it moves forward to whatever swap or whatever the next transition thing is going to be, I don't think are going to be seen as favorably or able to integrate. So I think that he's going to be someone that's going to be taken out at the next phase of the game, merge at the very latest. I don't think that he has, like, ability to get very long.
See, I think he's early merge personally, but Alex, real quick, you have your hand up very patiently. You want to talk about Brad. Talk about Brad. Talk about my BFF.
All right. So I think Brad's getting very good at it. He got the strategic thing last week. He got the, just good at it the prior week. And this week at the challenge, he called his shot like Babe Ruth, basically. Like, I can do this. I got this. And then he did it. And by the way, one rebuttal to Ben. Brad, I believe, played safety. That is not a pass throwing or pass.
He was a defensive tackle, but
yeah, sure. Either way,
throwing an object.
You do not. Yeah, right. So I think Brad has I think he's more like mid merge. I think people are going to think, wow, he's calmed down. He's possibly likable, maybe a little bit, and he could win challenges. So,
Steven, real quick, what was that comment you just made?
I just said he played for the Bucks, so it's not like
it's not like real football, right?
No, it is, but I mean it's a joke.
Wait, what team is the Bucks? Oh, the
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
Come on, Alicia, get it together.
I've never heard of them
All right.
the Bucks before.
So it was noted earlier by, I believe, Alex, who said, when you get a confessional like that Debbie had stating something that did not happen, that they're wrong, it does not look good. Steven, one of those actually happened right after the reward challenge. The very lovely Cherie Fields.
Yep, I noticed that too.
Talk crap about Troyzan. Is Alex wrong in his assessment, or is Cherie going to be a villain just like Sandra? Because that was not a good confessional from her.
I don't think it was a bad confessional. Maybe maybe it's the Cherie colored glasses I have on, but I think with Cherie, it's like sort of Cherie being Cherie in her own way, because she has the trademark sort of giggle snort that she always does, where she'll say something a little not nasty, but a little bit of a dig at someone, and she'll laugh about it after. I think it's just Cherie being Cherie, giving her commentary. I'm guessing they gave her the content because that was the narrative they wanted to spin. Mm-hmm. I don't really think it has any long-term implications, though.
Well, and
I think if anything, it's just setting up for. I think it's just setting up for the idol that Troyzan's going to play. It's just kind of reminding everyone, yes, Troyzan is the underdog, but oh wait, he has the idol.
And that's something else to keep in mind is that with the Green Tribe tonight, we did see some random tidbits here and there, and I think it was just a reminder of hey, this exists. And Steven, real quick, make your point before I jump on.
I was going to say real quick. I don't think Cherie is put the Troyzan's next as an intrinsically wrong thing, because it's not like any of them know he has the idol.
Right.
So they're operating under what they know, which is that to their knowledge, if they lose.
But the fact that they're showing it though means something. All right, Ben, I'm going to jump to you because much like Cherie, Ozzy on the Green Tribe, he got this weird little fucking thing out of nowhere about how great he was and how he catches fish and all that stuff. So, Ozzy, does he have long-term game plans, or was it just a reminder of, hey, Ozzy exists? What was up with that? Why include that into the narrative of this episode?
I think that for the Green Tribe, the focus edits on Cherie and Ozzy were indicative of them having long-term prospect in the game, especially for Ozzy, because what he did was kind of nonsensical. He went on talking about how he was going to be this provider for his tribe and how it doesn't matter, he's not phased if they lose a reward challenge because it means he's able to provide more for them and depend more on him. And then he goes and catches a stingray that doesn't provide much meat from a fish instead of any fish that actually provides nutrients.
Which begs the question, Ben. Ben, it begs the question: how the fuck do you cook a stingray?
Exactly. It was just you had all these fish that were floating around. You got a stingray. Yeah.
There's a giant tuna going by. There's a whole school of flounder, and he's
Okay, okay. He did give the explanation that he thought it was one of those like bottom feedy fish that like blends in with the ground. But
Well,
really
he was wrong.
So yes, he was wrong. But okay, the stingray brings me to my first of 2 points as to why they did this little Aussie special. First, yeah, he caught a fucking stingray and it was like multicolored, and you were like, "But is that a stingray? Is it not?"
So he killed an endangered stingray.
It was beautiful. It was cinematic. There was no way they were not going to show that fucking stingray. Secondly, in his dialogue, has shown a significant twist in his attitude towards himself. He said, and I quote, "not to toot my own horn." He has been known in the past as being the most cocky motherfucker possibly to have ever played the game. And yet he's sitting here being like, this is what I bring to the table. I fish, I provide, but not to tune my own horn about it. So I feel like we're getting a more likable Aussie edit than we've gotten in the past because of a little self-awareness.
All right, Steven, is there a likable Aussie edit?
I made this comment earlier. He's borderline fun.
Colin, please try to not throw up.
No.
But so I will say what this reminded me of is Morgan and Kagiyan. We had various confessionals of her saying, not to be conceited, but, and she says something very conceited.
But in Morgan's defense, she was very beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah, but like, it's just, it harkened back to that. And I said it earlier, but Ozzy is borderline fun this season, which is like troubling to me. But I don't think he has long legs. I think he's getting content because like it's Ozzy and he's always going to get content regardless of how he places.
Okay. Well, and then Alex, real quick, I just want to hear your 2 cents on Ozzy before I harp on the little next thing.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just. I don't know if I have that many thoughts about Ozzy.
All right.
Heels are
okay, but I have one more thought about Ozzy.
Okay, yeah, one more thought about Ozzy, then we're gonna move on.
4 times, but I love that like his passion for the game is still like I feel very, very fresh. During the reward challenge or during the immunity challenge, he was like on his face, couldn't even look to see like what the result was going to be because he was so like nervous and freaking out.
Well, I mean, he is a very passionate. I mean, he did a pretty good job of that challenge too. But we're gonna talk about the immunity challenge in a second. But real quick, what I wanted to say was, I forget, someone just made the comment that Ozzy got the confessionals because he was Ozzy, and that's just what happens. My question to you is this: this is now oh my goodness, we're already at the 3rd episode of the season. A lot of players didn't get much screen time tonight. They include Aubrey, Zeke, JT. Troy got a little bit. Jeff Varner was visible but didn't get a whole lot of confessionals. Are these players dead in the water? Does anyone want to take a moment to talk about any of these? Because I'm scared about Zeke, man.
I think that it comes down to there have been some winner edits that have had 2-3 invis edits. So I can't be fazed if in the 3rd episode, like a lot of those people that you named are on the green tribe that didn't have much strategy incorporated in.
That's
like
fair.
I can't read it. I can't really read into that, especially because like we have had winners that like Sophie who had like 3 invis edits pre-merge. So like we can't really read into that being a factor.
Yeah, Michelle, and that's fair. Alex, what real quick comment on that, but also comment on Aubrey because the thing about that scares me on Aubrey is
she had a lot of nonverbals.
And same with Zeke is they're from Aubrey's from 2 seasons ago. Zeke is from last season. Them not getting any confessionals it's making me nervous for them.
Yeah, and I think that would be the appropriate way to take that. Basically, it's the kind of thing where, like, what content they do get, I'm thinking, is this obligatory or not? And we didn't need to see anything from Green Tribe this episode. So I think the fact that Zeke went missing was not that big of a deal this episode. And I think Aubrey getting her first content was a minor good sign for her because she was like the things she was saying were things that anybody could have said, like, oh my God, this twist is crazy kind of thing, where like everybody said something like that during their interview. But the fact that we saw her say it means she's not going completely under.
Okay. But what about my want to pick Jeff Varner? And come on, he's still going to win, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, duh. Especially now that Malcolm's out of the way.
All right. Ben, your thoughts on Jeff Varner? Just because we got to see him crying though when he lost the challenge. I think that means something.
That was a cute moment. We laughed here in the Muley household. But he's in a good position. I think that he comes off as non-threatening compared to some of the other members on his tribe. I think that he's someone that is able to work well, like in whatever scenarios end up coming up in the next couple of rounds. So I think that he could do well. I think it depends on what ends up being the next transition in the game and how he's able to play with that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point because if he gets thrown into another tribe swap and his tribe loses twice, I think he's done because he is garbage at challenges, which kind of brings us to the immunity challenge of tonight. Okay. Oh my goodness, it was such a close call. And I gotta say, Steven, Ozzy had a tiny bit of advantage because he did that same challenge in South Pacific against Cochrane and Redemption Island.
And he almost lost.
And he did, yeah, and he almost lost it famously. But do you think little things like that matter, or do they matter like so much because of how close this challenge was?
I mean, like, I'm sure there's an advantage in the sense that he has done it before, yes, but he did it, like 5 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
And, not to knock Ozzy or anything, but I don't think Ozzy has spent the past 5 years doing a table maze he won. So I'm sure there's an advantage in the sense that, like, yes, he's done it before, but it's also been like 5 years. And knowing Ozzy, his brain is probably a little more mushier. Some substances he's taken part in.
Oh,
Probably knowing Ozzy,
Okay, well, I guess that's a fair point. But in terms of just overall closeness of the challenge, Alex, do you think they did a good job of editing it, or is this going to be like some shenanigans where we find out, in 3 weeks that the challenge wasn't close at all? And what does also that say to how well these tribes are stacked? Because all the challenges have been pretty close so far.
Yeah, I think that this challenge is this challenge was the easiest one to out of a lot of them that they run to sort of visually lie with, because all the action happens zoomed in, so there's really no way to compare side to side.
Okay, that's a good point.
So yeah, I think it could have been a lot more lopsided than we saw, but at the same time, all three people wouldn't have gotten to go and been a little close.
Very, very fair point. So I just talked about the challenge for a minute, and everyone's kind of wondering why. I spent time talking about Ozzy, and everyone's kind of wondering why. And do you know why that is? Because Tribal Council was absolutely fucking insane, and this twist was absolutely fucking insane, and we still haven't addressed it. Okay, so real quick, I am just going to do yes or no on everybody, and I want you to say yes or no on this twist. There's no caveats, just yes or no, 2 tribes sharing 1 Tribal Council in a manner like this. Alex, yes or no, do we like it?
Once.
Okay, Alicia.
No.
Ben.
yes.
Steven.
Yes, but yes.
Okay, I am saying no. It is complete garbage. I am so sorry. Alex saying once, I kind of get that, but this kind of is like, it makes Survivor way more random than I think is appropriate for the game of Survivor. Survivor always does have its twists and turns, but when they can always throw this kind of bullshit at you, oh my goodness, how are you supposed to even think and strategize and play the game? Ben, we're going to talk. Don't worry, we're going to talk. And as someone who played an online game with Alicia, and she benefited greatly from these stupid joint tribal councils, I can't stand it. One time is fine. One time makes good television, but yeah, I can't.
I mean, unfortunately, you're getting a tribal, you're getting like a merged tribal without the benefit or curse of having everyone strategize in a merge-like setting beforehand. It's totally random. You don't know, decisions are going to be made like that, or else they're not when they should be changed, and it's just. I mean, it just ends up being like a total shit show and not necessarily, I mean, a shit show in a great way, but not in a Survivor strategy rewards.
Exactly. And because I look at someone like Malcolm who got axed tonight. He did nothing to justify this boot. And yes, there's a random nature of Survivor, but come the fuck on. All right, Ben, explain why I'm wrong. Let's hear it.
I'm not gonna go and flat out say that you're wrong. I'm not that kind of person. What I'm saying is, in the context of game changers, in the context of these returning players, I think it's appropriate for one round. And I say I would not want to see this in a regular season of Random Strangers Survivor, because I think in that situation, things would be bland. Things would not have turned out how they turned out at this tribal. Like, I think that would be too difficult to navigate for them, and I think it wouldn't be a fair assessment of their game. However, in this game, they have the preconceived notions. They have the added knowledge that it is a returner season, that they have to take on previous reputation. Like, it is a season where they can implement this and it can be used in a strategic fashion. So that's why, like, it happening once. If it happens again, I think that they're being try hard. But I think that for this once, it's an attempt to be able to use the fact that they're all returning players to their advantage for a strategic edge.
And also to their disadvantage too, which is interesting. And I gotta say, I agree with you. In this setting, much like the revote tie twist, it works. I don't want to see it on a season of newbies. But Alex, I want to jump to you, but I'm going to say this. What if we did a joint tribal council again in a season of newbies, but it was a blood versus water season? Do you think that would, play out? Go ahead.
Is that the question being directed at me?
Yes. Blood versus water, joint tribal council, and do we like this tribal council? Is it appropriate for game changers? So,
I think it was appropriate for game changers because we have pre-made alliances. We have people, or like pre-game alliances is what I meant to say, and we have people who know what they're doing and they know each other, and all that. It makes it better. But yeah, never again. And if it were, because 2 points, or I don't know, like with the blood versus water thing, I don't know what would happen other than what everybody thinks would happen. I would bet it's just that, like people are gonna, try to figure out, do I want to vote out my own mom? Do I want that Sierra aura on me? Yeah, Steven's like, what would for sure happen? Sierra would vote her mom out.
We know that. They would be like, we're voting out Caleb, and then Sierra would be like, nah, we're voting out my mom, bitches.
Yeah, but one thing that I do want to point out is that this would not work as a recurring twist, because if one tribe had a numbers advantage, then they could just throw challenges and get rid of the people on the other tribes.
Which is what we did to Alicia's alliances and cross-tribal stuff when I played against her. Alicia, you want to comment on this? Let's talk about this. Talk about the joint tribal.
I do, and yeah, you've distracted me with what you said. It worked out so well in my favor. Shit. Alex, you were saying something, and it jogged my memory about something else.
All right, well then I'm going to go ahead and jump to Steven, because Steven always has great commentary. Okay, so do we agree, Steven, that with this season, when it comes to the twist, we're kind of taking all the cards off the tables and saying, you know what, all these All-Stars are wearing a game-changer label, so as a result, we can throw anything at them, but heaven forbid we do this to regular people. Is that where your kind of head is at with this stuff?
Yeah, I could kind of see it. Like, I could kind of see him saying, oh, these are game changers, in air quotes, so they can handle insert twist here. Like, they have a twist wheel, and it's like, tribal 4, and they, like, spin something else. Like, I could see them just throwing this at the wall because it's a returnee season and seeing what sticks, and maybe not being so twist-happy with a newbie season, because with returnees, they have the built-in charisma, I would suppose, to carry a season as it is. So they don't have to worry as much about the twists screwing them over in that sense.
Well, and I would also add that, Steven, when people talk about, and I talk to a lot of Survivor players, you can check out all their interviews below. People that return to Survivor say the second time around, the outdoor stuff and all that stuff is just so much easier because you're used to it. When it's your first time playing Survivor, you're worried about food and shelter and all that other good stuff. So in a way, making all-star players focus way more on the strategy by throwing more twists kind of makes sense, whereas putting it on the new people who are still just super hungry and wondering where they're going to sleep seems to be a bit unfair. Ben, you wanted to comment real quick.
I was going to go with the same phrase that Steven uses, which is throwing things up against the wall and seeing what sticks, but using the game changers for these various crazy twists to see what sticks and what could be implemented in further seasons that fans may react towards positively. So seeing as this was the second of 2 seasons in the filming batch before they film on to 2 new seasons.
Okay.
I think that this could be something where if the fan base decides to react very positively to a certain twist or something that happens that is unique in this game, it could be implemented in further seasons. That is something that radiated positive interest in the.
And that's good. That's good. Real quick, I just want to point out, do we know if the next season has started filming yet, Steven?
I don't believe it has. I believe they fly out within the next few weeks or so.
Okay, so Probst is going to have a pretty good idea of this. So let's talk about the tribal council. Alicia. Oh, wow, we're getting some really bad echo.
I'm hearing some echo, yeah.
Is the echo gone? It appears to be. I muted Ben. Good job, Ben.
Oh, great.
All right, Alicia, go ahead. Let's talk about tribal council. Lead the way.
Let's do it. So we've talked all about how this tribal council was crazy and the twist of it was crazy, but we haven't talked about the meat of it, what actually fucking happened. And it was indeed pretty insane. We had Haley kind of insinuating across the aisle that she wants muscly threats out, leading Sandra to whisper to everyone she's talking about Brad. And then we had JT running over to Brad on the opposite tribe to whisper sweet nothings in his ear about how he was going to be safe. Then we had Haley being like, well, fuck this, and running back over to Sandra to, I mean, not really say much of anything except to try and convince them to vote for Brad. It was crazy, to which then JT is like, oh my God, Brad, don't worry, it's not you, and then takes it one step further. That fateful one step further where he says, it's actually Sierra. Steven, let's talk. You're JT, your ultimate bestie, friend, confidant is on the other side of things. You want to reassure them that they're safe. Do you tell him the real plan? What do you do? What do you do with that?
I think if you're JT, you're in sort of a sticky situation, trademark Baylor Wilson. But you also have to play nice with your new tribe too, because you're clearly on the outs of them. So I think JT is sort of was in a bind, and I think he really believed that they were voting for Sandra, which is why I'm guessing he told them that the vote was on Sierra. Because I think he thought it was going to be, for Sandra. I think if he had known or had any indication it was Malcolm, he wouldn't have spilled the beans. So yeah, I think again with JT having the knowledge that he had, similar to Heroes versus Villains, he made the move that he thought was best for him. Obviously, it turned out not to be the case. But yeah, we were all like, it was like watching a train wreck happen in front of you. You see them going towards each other and you're like, no! And you want to stop it, but you can't.
Right. So, Colin, I'm going to throw this at you. Are you giving up the real plan? Are you trying to use it as a strategy to distract and name some random person like, oh, it's not you, it's Aubrey? Are you leaving it at, oh, it's not you?
Yeah, the thing is, JT's in a tough situation. I would probably whisper to Brad, like, hey, it's not going to be you, but then stop right then and there, because you want to keep Brad on your good side, because obviously, JT's trying to bro down. But then right after that, I'm saying, hey, Brad, it's not you. Then I'm going back to my tribe, and then I'm saying to my tribe, I think they think it's Brad. They might. I don't think they have an idol, but if they do have an idol, it won't be on him, something like that. I would try to, have it both ways. I would never, ever give up my tribe's current plan to Brad.
Great. Alex, speaking of idols, so if you're there and you're, you have an idol, or you are thinking about someone else having an idol, what are you doing? Are you trying to plant false seeds? Are you sitting? What are you thinking about? What is running through your mind?
I'm the wrong person to ask because I suck at this kind of stuff. I don't do mind games that well.
Okay, so you're sitting there just watching and seeing what.
Yeah,
I'm Aubrey was.
So I'm not trying to influence the conversation. I'm just if somebody says, I think it's blank, I will say, yes, that sounds plausible, or like, no, it couldn't possibly be because X, Y, and Z. I'll try to refine it, but I'll be a team player.
Okay, fair enough. And Ben, so at the end of all of the craziness, or what we think is the end of all that craziness, and Jeff is like, go vote. Haley, you're up. Haley's like, no, and gives a lot of tude. Are you that inner Haley? Because I just feel like you might be. Or do you just, what do you do? What do you do if you're Haley?
I would be that person that would prolong everything to see if anything more would transpire. I would be absolutely 100%.
He would be that person.
I would. I literally would want to see any other person flinch trying to move towards a person who, like, is there more to happen? What more do you have to say? But I think that she ended up doing the best that she could with the cards that she had at this tribal, considering all the craziness.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that everyone did the best they could.
Well, real quick though, you just mentioned Haley. Steven, you're fangirling so hard over Haley. What exactly did she do this episode to get you to fangirl so hard?
So
what am I not seeing?
Okay, so I liked Haley long enough on Worlds Apart. Like,
this isn't about Worlds Apart. This is what did she do tonight to get you to fangirl so hard?
I'm getting there.
I don't need your context. What did she do tonight?
So she, well, I mean, for one, she basically single-handedly made her tribe vote Malcolm, because they were like, I mean, literally the other 5 were like, we have to vote Sandra, and she said, I just think it's stupid to vote Sandra. We got to get rid of the physical threats, and Malcolm's the biggest physical threat over there. Then they voted for Malcolm. But on top of that, Haley really tried to sort of have it both ways, because she was always going to vote with her original tribe, but she told like new Nuku to vote for Brad in case it did pan out. So that way, if Brad left, her tribe loses a number, but she may get better footing. Mm-hmm. But if Malcolm goes, she gets rid of someone from the opposing tribe who's a bigger, stronger threat. I think Haley played her cards very well, and I think that's why I was such a big fan. And that, coupled with her sort of verbal smackdown on Caleb last week, has just really, really raised her stock for me.
And that's fair.
Go ahead, Elise. I wonder if Haley really was the one behind the Malcolm vote, because remember, she's presumably on the outs of this group of 5. So why are they necessarily going along with what she says? I would wonder if maybe Brad Culpepper, another physical threat in Malcolm, like he saw in Caleb last week, and was also pushing for that, and maybe we just didn't see that either.
Well, the thing with that is, I would agree, but I feel like if there was a lot of content of Brad Culpepper pushing Malcolm, we would have seen it. Because I feel like we saw in the recap for this week, which I noticed earlier, the entire recap was Brad thought Caleb was a threat, so he took him out. Like, that was the entirety of that. So I feel like they're trying to build up someone, or Brad, as someone who is going to take out those big threats. And so I feel like if that content was there, we would have been shown it. But I mean, I don't think Brad didn't necessarily say it, but I think Haley was probably the one leading the charge. And on top of that, Mana didn't necessarily his head was at. So that's why they probably were like, well, shoot, Haley's going to vote with us. So, yeah.
I like that, Steven. What I just want to point out is right now, the 4 boots have been from Mana Tribe. So maybe, wouldn't it be ridiculous if this whole game-changing season ended up with like a Mana Pagonging? And it's like, oh, this is what these game changers do. But before we wrap anything up, Alicia, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Did you want to talk anything more about Tribal Council?
No, because we kind of already discussed the Ty pulling out the idol thing.
Yeah. He was like, this is my idol, bitches. No, that's not what happened. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for joining us, unless there's any other final thoughts from anybody else. Once, twice, 3 times. All right, so if you are watching at home, enter the name of someone below so you can win a change of underwear. Come on, it's Game Changers. You can enter Aubrey, Sari, Ozzy, Troyzan, Zeke, JT, Jeff, Debbie. Do it. Do it.
Maybe
don't pick Debbie because things do not look good.
Yeah.
Can we talk about her roaring
Yeah.
for next episode? We need to talk about her roaring.
Oh
is
my
okay.
God.
Man, 3 seconds on her warning before I end this broadcast, and I'm being serious. I'm gonna hit the end button at the count of 3. Go.
Get ready for Debbie's
1, 2,
53rd
3.